disbursement is possible before celebrating this year's Christmas. We are saying this owing to the sequence of events that transpired in the grant ecosystem or in the country a few days ago. Recall, we intimated you that authorities from the IMF and the World Bank were here in the country. They are still much around. And their reason for being here is to supervise the disbursement or the flagging off of disbursement. Just a few days ago, there was a highly classified meeting between the grant handlers, government representative, and the representative from this IMF and World Bank. And the good news is that there was cooperation between both parties, as activities and policies that will bring about disbursement were finally streamlined and concluded. So nothing technically is holding disbursement. Time and again, we intimate you that the delay that is taking place in this ecosystem is actually a blessing in disguise. Between the 16th of December till this Christmas week, sequence of events have taken place to the advantage of both you, the beneficiaries, and the NGO CEOs. One of the good news is that it's going to be 2 bundles for the NGO CEOs, no more 1 bundle. And the entitlement of beneficiaries is going to be 3 million naira in some of the grant organizations they subscribe with. This last-minute development reveals that if disbursement was to commence since 8 or 10 years ago when this money was donated by the donors to Nigerian organizations, the entitlement of beneficiaries shouldn't have been this mouth-watering as it is at the moment. For example, at the time the money was donated to the NGO, dollar to naira exchange rate was barely 240 naira to 400 naira. And what is the current naira to dollar exchange rate at the moment? Is about 1,600 plus. Therefore, if disbursement was to take place at the era of Telpacon, SEM, Theobarth, Golden Bridge, or even in 2023 December, the entitlements of beneficiaries should have been between 50,000 to 300,000 or 1.8 million, at most 2.5 million naira. But now, the delay has led to increment in the entitlement to 3 million naira and then 2 bundles to the NGO CEOs. This again explains the reason why there is constant meeting and adjustment of policies in the grant ecosystem. As a fact, the way things are happening right now, if there is a way government should have hijacked the process, the entire disbursement should have been hijacked by politicians, ministers, and other government representatives, because the entitlement and the entire process is becoming more attractive than ever thought possible. This is the same reason why previous governments find very inconveniencing approving grants to the tune of millions of naira years ago to be disbursed for the masses, for average people, for non-governmental people. But luckily for us in the current ecosystem, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wish to see the masses breathe. As a fact, the donors want the entitlements of beneficiaries to be meaningful, but the government of Nigeria wants to keep it in a certain limit, hence the economy will not be upsetted. The governments are quite sensitive to the impact of disbursement on the economy. That's why you are witnessing repeated adjustments in policies and subjection of the grant handlers to regulatory bodies to checkmate the activities or the scheme of disbursement. The interest of the masses is for the money to be disbursed for them to use and build their lives. But the interest of the government is to keep the economy stable. Recently, the Nigerian economy has been staggering, battle with inflation rate and skyrocketed prices of goods and services. These are all factors that constituted delay in disbursement expectation. And the sad reality is that no government of any nation is willing to sacrifice the welfare of the citizens on the altar of economic instability. According to the feedback we are getting after the meeting of the joint representative in the villa a few days ago, certain grants organizations have been approved to partake in the disbursement process. This implies that most of the NGO you subscribe for will disburse to you. We are intimated that grant organizations like the UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, Hope Project, Theobarth Global Foundation, St. Rita, and the likes were approved to partake in the disbursement activity. And it will interest you to know that one of the reasons for the delay was for the government to checkmate the number of times beneficiaries receive this grant. They are aware that you as a beneficiary or NGO CEO have subscribed to all these organizations, and you are going to receive disbursement from all of them. Therefore, it's a scenario of having 5 or 10 or 20 beneficiary slots in almost 5 or 6 organizations, implying that as a beneficiary, you are going to receive the sum of 3 million naira times 5, 10, or 25 places. Stated simply, if you subscribe for UAAG, AGPGN, Supreme, Hope Project, St. Rita, and you have 5 slots in each of them, it implies you are receiving 3 million naira in each organization times the number of slots you have there. If you have 5 beneficiary slots in UAAG, that means 3 times 5, 15 million naira. If you subscribe in 5 organizations with 5 beneficiary slots in each of them, that implies 5 times 5, 25 slots, and 3 million times 25. That's what you are receiving. And this is alarming or a threat to certain people in this country. Imagine their former cleaner or gate man receiving 15 million or 25 million naira from grant. If there are ways they can stop the process, if some of these authorities have a way of hijacking the process and disbursing among their circle of elites, they should have done so.